So, I'm here with Travis Love Benson. He has a YouTube channel too, and you should totally check it out. He does really great things. I was on it. You can tell that it's great. So, totally check that out. If you're wondering why the lighting is different, it's because, number one, I'm on break. Number two, I'm not in my dark room. So, thank you again for Travis. Anyway, we are going to do a very non-rehearsed at all. We haven't talked about this. We just know the general subject of what we're doing. Thank you. We just knew the general subject of what we're doing, which is YA books. So we're gonna rant. I don't know what either one of us is going to say, and this is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be exciting. I feel very strongly about young adult literature because whenever I go into a bookstore, I shouldn't have to feel ashamed to go to the young adult section and say, wow, I actually like reading young adult fiction.
How old are you?
I'm 23. That's
a young adult. You're a young adult.
I should be able to go to a bookstore and not be like, so, just an example, someone, I'm just standing there looking at books, or I walk into a bookstore and someone walks up to me and it's like, oh, can I help you find something? And I'm like, oh, I'm just looking for the young adult section. And they're like, young adult section? There are some great works, different works that come out of young adult fiction, and they're highly unappreciated, and even when they are appreciated, they're appreciated as young adult fiction, which has become this stigma and stereotype that it shouldn't have become.
It's true. I feel that way about all YA, but specifically dystopia, because dystopia wasn't a YA genre, but it's become a YA genre, so now every time you say anything that has to do with dystopia, even if you're not saying the word, they're gonna be like, oh, it's one of those YA books, is there a heroine saving the world? And I'm like, screw you, yeah, there is. And it makes me really mad, because, okay, go ahead, say that about frigging Animal Farm if you want, but, it's dystopia, so I don't know what your problem is.
Usually my tastes in young adult fiction lie within, ghost stories, which are overplayed and a stereotype, and there are so many bad young adult there are so many bad books that are ghost related, and fuck all of them. But then once in a while you get a really good short story collection of really good ghost stories, or you get a really good just long ghost story fiction, which young adult fiction wise, Neil Gaiman has The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And The Ocean at the End of the Lane is fantastic and really short, and he can jump between regular fiction and young adult fiction. There's no problem. But anyone else is like, oh, I want to become a real writer because young adult fiction authors aren't real writers.
I feel like we're making fun of J.K. Rowling right now.
And you can't do it. It's a little, So ghosts as a trope, and then also queer novels. I just need to get into this for a second. Let's talk about queer young adult novels. Which one? There aren't that many, and if you're even looking for them, don't even try and look in the queer section of a bookstore. God forbid, because if you look in the queer section of a bookstore, it's just self-help books on how to come out or not be gay. Nope, if you're looking for queer books, it's stereotype book 1. Young boy is in high school or middle school, falls in love with the straight boy who's really angsty and teenagery. They fall in love, and then the straight guy's like, wait, I'm not gay, and then he leaves him, or he's like, wait, I am gay, and they stay together, or he's like, wait, I am gay, and they break up anyway.
I have to say, I'm pretty sure this trope started with Maurice by E.M. Forster, and if you want to know more about that wonderful classic, you should go to my Tumblr, because I read it over this last break. It's really good. It's really gay. Continue.
Will Grayson sucks, but that second author has written some really good stories. Specifically, here's one. He came out with one summer of 2015, maybe 2014. And it was all about, here's the premise, this guy, each day, and you just assume it's a guy because of the way that it's written, which of course, maybe it's just the heteronormative male stereotype that we live in, that I just assume everyone's a guy until they say otherwise. It's this guy, and he jumps each day, he's in a new body. He falls in love with this girl, and of course, and, could you guess? And, then the next day he wakes up and he's near her, but he's a few miles away, and there are some really, really, really good points that are, and I could go on. I could make a Star Lakes book video just about that book, but
This is gonna be a really long video. I mean, I'm sure you can tell. You've looked down. You know how long this is, but I am reaffirming for you. It's not blank space at the end of the video. It is a long video.
It's a really good premise that he doesn't develop on enough, which is another trope of young adult authors. And there's a lot of times where he's like, oh, I'm a female as the main character, and I'm gonna go fall in love with her, and she's like the supporting female, because of course there's not a main female. Why would there be? Yeah, is like, oh, am I gay now? And so, you know,
That's also a fanfic trope. I specifically hate queer books that are all about, like, I'm so gay, and now I need to come out, and the entire book is them coming out. Because, like, yeah, we do need books about people coming out, but we don't just need books about people being angsty, because they're just so gay that they're staring at this boy, and they're like, oh, I'm so gay, but I can't tell anyone, and they just get angstier and angstier, and it's like,
I'm
chill,
sorry,
are you okay?
Are you taking, like, the one experience you had in high school and just emphasizing it by 300 times and saying this is what everyone feels? Because
I feel like if you were to interview one of these authors, you'd be like, excuse me, sir, how did you get this idea? And he'd be like, one time I saw this boy, and I looked into his eyes, and I thought, I could be happy with you one day. And then I was like, ha, no homo! But it's still, it comes back to me, and I think, what if I had done something differently? And you're like, you're not queer. You're not. I mean, maybe, but at this point in time, you haven't opened yourself up enough to be queer, so, like, you're not aware that we just paused, but I'm going to tell you that we paused, and I might edit that into the video.
Which are really good pause, even though I don't know what it is.
To get off the topic of queer books, because that could go on forever, do you want to talk about a few more tropes real quick?
Let's talk about, I don't know, your choice of the next two things. Artsy types in young adult literature, or
the creatives! It's my least favorite thing.
Or, people with weight. Weight people.
Because I can think of two primary examples where I'm just horrified. Okay, so I get, like, I don't know if this is exactly what you meant, but I feel like there is definitely, like, a very specific, like, cliche sort of stereotypical trope for, like, I'm the main protagonist and I'm a female, but I'm fat. And you're like, good for you? I mean, I feel like it's really awful that we just assume that every female in any sort of literature, we also assume this for males, I don't want to say that we don't, but, like, we assume that everyone in these books are, like, perfectly physically fit, and if we don't, we assume that they're, like, withering away, and that's disgusting, that's awful. We are many different shapes and sizes, so I get very annoyed when there are books focusing on, like, bigger girls, and they're just like, I'm big, and everything to do with their lives is the fact that they're big. There's this one book, which I do not remember the title of. I blacked it out of my memory. I hated it. It's this girl who worked in a dress shop, and she was like, I do fashion, because you know what every fat girl does in books? They do fashion. Wow!
What a shock!
Oh my god!
That's a new concept.
So she worked in the dress shop, and of course, she was like a fashion designer, but nobody knew it. And, like, she befriended this really tall girl who pretended that she used to be fat to like, manipulate her. And everything in her frigging life was about, like, I was fat, so I wore a bra early on in life. And I was fat, so, like, nobody ever wanted to date me. And then, of course, one boy decides that, like, she's not hideous. And they get together, and it's like her self-esteem gets slightly better. And in the book that I read, that I have reviewed, Fans of the Impossible Life, the more I think about this book, the more I hate it, because the female protagonist is a bigger girl, and you don't realize that at first, and then they just keep explaining her outfits, because she's into fashion, and they're like, oh, I was wearing this and this, because I like to go to the Salvation Army, and I like to go to thrift stores, and I like to buy all these things, which I'm also, let's just be real for a second, I am big, I am a big girl, and I cannot shop at thrift stores. You know why? Because Fat people don't give up their clothes. Like, that's not something that happens. So I get really annoyed whenever they're like, I go to thrift stores and I can pick up everything. All my clothing is from thrift stores. Because, like, you're not being realistic right now. But she did that. And then everything about her life was fashion. And then she was just like, I'm so pretty. And then every 2 seconds she'd be like, I'm horribly depressed. And she would be like, I'm so fat. Whoa, guys, wait. I was having a good time. But I just remembered.
I just remembered I'm a bigger
fat.
girl.
So yeah, that's my rant about that.
I just want to scream when you're reading something. I need to go from the skinny perspective because I am a skinnier man. And just saying that, one, we don't have perfectly fit bodies. I sure don't, and I don't like assuming that we do. But going on to, like, fat people. One, people with weight. I don't even know, like, because it's all now PC. Bigger people.
I like the phrase bigger, but also, like, I don't think you should be afraid to, like, say fat, because fat's not a negative. There's a lot of different perspectives, but it's, like, whatever.
So, fat people, they happen. They're people in society. It exists, and they're happy, and they can be happy, and they can do whatever they want, and they are not inhibited by anything, and they don't constantly have to constantly have to think about the fact that they have weight on them. And that's why I hate, in the skinny perspective, why covers of books that you'll see. I picked up a book and it was like The Haunting of Sunny fucking bitch. And apparently
that was the title.
Apparently it's based on, like, online stories and online videos. The Sunnydale girl or something. Her name is fucking Sunny. And she turns 16 and she gets possessed by a ghost. I don't really know what's going on. I read, like, the first 2 pages. But you know what? I might have assumed within those first couple pages that she might have been, like, you know, a plump female that was like, you know, I'm peppy and perky.
Her name is Sunny.
But I couldn't assume that, because on the cover, there is a skinny, white, blonde female floating in midair, and I'm like, okay, so I have to assume that this is a heteronormative, straight, white society in which the females are blonde with blue eyes, because that's the world that they put her in. Hitler envisioned. Same thing with queer people in non-queer books. Either they are queer, either their point of view is that they are queer, and the only thing about them is that they're queer, or that they are
especially supporting characters. I get so mad about gay supporting characters because it's like, oh my god, I'm living my entire life. Let's go check on Gay Joe, and Gay Joe's like, those shoes do not match that shirt. Come into my basement. It's covered with gay men. And they're like, good job, Gay Joe. I'm gonna go have a fulfilling life over here.
What do you do for a living, Gay Joe? Oh, I'm a choreographer. I'm a dancer.
My boyfriend's a fashion designer.
I just want to sing punk music. I want to be a folk
Give
artist.
me more punk gays.
Why do I have to be stereotyped into doing theater? I don't know. I'll be controversial for 3 seconds and say, I don't know, Meghan Trainor.
I hate Meghan Trainor.
I don't like Meghan Trainor either, but you know what? I don't see a problem. I didn't see a problem with this song.
The only thing that I didn't like about All About That Bass was that it was talking about body positivity in the way of appealing to men. That was my issue with it.
That's the issue to have with it. You know, we make slights at fat people all of the time. And if she wants to make one joking slight at skinny people, yes, skinny people, there's a big problem. I can't gain weight, yeah, but you know what? I don't, like, go shove it in people who always gain weight's faces, you know? And I'm not like, oh, it's such a big, it's so aggravating, because I can see both sides of the situation, and I can understand why people got upset at that comment. But it wasn't meant to be like, oh, if you're skinny, you're a fucking piece of shit. Because that's not what she meant by it. She was trying to be body positive. And yes, she was doing it in a negative light because she was doing it in a, men are the most important thing and we are the object of their affection. And that's really fucking aggravating. And it also happens in books, in literature. Because if you are a female in a book, you are only there to be the center of attention for a man. And even if in that book, you are a rebel, you are a woman that doesn't want a man, you are a woman who has been alone for a long time or hasn't been alone for a long time, but just really is very comfortable being alone and being single and being who you are, you eventually, at the end of that book, you get with a man.
If you agree with these statements, this isn't the end of the video. If you agree with these statements, don't watch the Netflix original Love. I'm gonna say that right now. Just don't. If you don't, or if you're like, man, I want to get mad, watch it. And then come to me and rant at me. Make a video about it. Tag me in it. Do that. Please do that. But if you don't want to get mad, don't watch that. Please. Don't do it.
And hey, if you were born an NPC female that is only the object of affection for a man, tell us about it, because
Please
I really
do.
want to know why you exist. My boyfriend broke up with me, boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, wait, I found him. I either got back with him because he took me back, I didn't take him back, or,
Took him back just because he was there. My
the
least
only
favorite...
option. The only one that ever loved me right.
Yeah, that's like really annoying to me when like a guy does something wrong and they break up and then it's like he does something slightly right and it's like, oh my god, everything's perfect now, and you're like, he's
If you
still
agree
a
with
dick.
this, don't watch the Netflix original series Love, because you...
Please don't. Can you see my eyes? They're screaming.
Let's boycott that show. Boycott it.
Boycott Love.
No, this is a very long video.
You're a trooper for really like watching this whole thing. Are you my mom?
I'm sure that I'll be in a few videos in the future, hopefully. And I'll write down thoughts so that way I can stay on track and not just come up with every single thing that makes me angry. That being said, the song prompt of the day is Anti-Summer Song by the Decemberists. It's a really good song, so check it out. I hope it helps you while we go into spring.
Yeah. So I hope you like that. I hope you like us. Subscribe, Travis Love Benson Music. Subscribe to me if you haven't. I don't know why you watched this whole video. Obviously, you love me. Go to Tumblr. Do you have a Tumblr right now? Yes,
I mean, I do, but I don't use it.
Go to his Tumblr, make him use it, and I love you. Bye.
Bye. I don't exist in a book, because if I did, I would be the main character, and all I would talk about is how fucking queer I am all the time. Did you know that my name is Travis Love Queer Benson, and I am I'm a queer musician? I went to school for queer music therapy, and I just love being a queer musician.